At the very end of a quiet, unassuming street, there stands a house that no one dares to enter. Its walls are old and weathered, but they seem to hold a presence far older than the wood and stone from which they were built for over a century. The house has been the center of whispers, stories, and warnings that pass from neighbor to neighbor, and from generation to generation. People who walk past it speak of a chill that runs down the spine, a feeling of being watched, and shadows that seem to move when no one is looking. They say the first family who entered never returned, and that every family who followed left behind strange tales of accidents, disappearances, and unexplained illness. The house has witnessed tragedy and suffering, and yet it remains standing silent but alive, as if it absorbs every scream, every cry, and every heartbeat of fear. The windows flicker with lights when no one is home, doors open and close on their own, and some say the walls themselves seem to watch those who dare to come near tonight. We will step into the chilling history of the house at the end of the street, uncover the dark secrets hidden inside its walls, and listen to the stories of those who entered and lived to tell what they experienced. We will explore the shadows, the whispers, and the unseen presence that continues to haunt this place, and the truth behind why it has remained untouched, abandoned, and feared for over 100 years. The house at the end of the street was built over a century ago, and from the very first day, misfortune seemed to cling to its walls. The first family who moved in disappeared without a trace within the first year, leaving the neighbors in fear and endless speculation. Some whispered it was a tragic accident, others swore that dark forces had claimed them. Over the decades, many other families attempted to live there, but each one left behind stories of unexplainable accidents, sudden illnesses, or loved ones who vanished mysteriously. The walls seemed to absorb every scream, every cry, and every tremor of fear, as if the house itself remembered the tragedies that had unfolded inside. Visitors spoke of hearing footsteps that came from empty rooms, and doors that opened or closed on their own. Locals avoided it completely, speaking only in hushed tones about lights that flickered at night, shadows that moved against reason, and a presence that could be felt but never seen. Historians who studied the property suggested that the land itself carried a violent past, perhaps a forgotten crime or tragedy, whose echoes seeped into the foundation of the house. Those brave enough to step inside often reported an overwhelming sense of dread and unease that no explanation could satisfy. The house stood like a silent sentinel at the end of the street, drawing curiosity while repelling hope and happiness, and carrying the weight of every soul that had ever tried to call it home. Over the years, countless people have reported strange and terrifying occurrences inside the house at the end of the street. Visitors and thrill-seekers alike have spoken of hearing whispers that come from empty hallways, footsteps that echo though no one is there, and cries that pierce the night with a chilling intensity. Some have seen lights flicker in rooms that are completely empty, shadows move across walls in ways that defy explanation, or objects shift slightly as if guided by unseen hands. Others describe sudden drops in temperature, cold spots that chill to the bone, and a heavy, oppressive atmosphere that seems to press down on anyone who dares to linger. Cameras and recording devices brought by paranormal investigators often capture fleeting glimpses of figures that vanish the moment they are noticed, distortions in video footage that cannot be explained, or shadows that move independently of any light source. Some even claim to have glimpsed faces staring from windows or doors that were supposed to be empty, appearing only for a fleeting moment before disappearing entirely. Locals whisper that the house itself reacts to those who enter as if it senses fear and feeds off it. Many who step inside feel eyes upon them, even in complete darkness, and report an overwhelming sensation that they are never truly alone. Every night, the house seems to hum with unseen energy, and those who have dared to spend hours within its walls speak of strange occurrences that escalate as darkness deepens, leaving them drained, frightened, and desperate to escape. The house at the end of the street is filled with dark secrets that have haunted it for generations. Certain rooms are said to be forbidden because those who enter experience visions and hallucinations that feel more real than reality itself. Some have reported intense feelings of dread and fear that come from nowhere and overwhelm the senses, as if the walls themselves are closing in. Objects inside the house often move on their own, chairs shift, slightly mirrors reflect figures that are not present, and doors open or close without any visible cause. Locals whisper of hidden passages and rooms that appear and disappear, leaving even the bravest explorers disoriented. Many believe that a dark presence is trapped within the house, a presence tied to the tragedies and disappearances of past families that continues to linger, refusing to be banished. Paranormal experts who have studied the house suggest that it is not just the building, but the land beneath it that holds the power, a malevolent force that twists perception and feeds on fear. Those who venture into the house often report sensations of being watched by unseen eyes, and the feeling that something is following them, even when no one is there. Some claim to hear whispers of names and phrases that seem intended specifically for them, and objects sometimes respond to their presence, as if the house recognizes and reacts to every movement, making it impossible to feel safe. Few people have dared to spend time inside the house at the end of the street, and those who have returned tell stories that chill the bone. Many speak of arriving with courage and curiosity, only to find themselves overwhelmed by fear. The moment they step inside, the hallways seem to stretch endlessly. Shadows move in the corners of the eye, and every creak of the floorboards feels amplified, as if the house itself is aware of their presence. Visitors often report hearing their names whispered in empty rooms, footsteps following them, even when no one is visible, and doors opening or closing on their own. Some have glimpsed shadowy figures that vanish the moment they are confronted, while others claim to have seen faces staring from windows or mirrors that were supposed to be empty. The experience is so intense that even seasoned paranormal investigators describe a feeling of dread that settles deep in the chest, making it difficult to breathe or think clearly. Those who spend hours inside the house frequently report a sense of being watched constantly, as if unseen eyes are tracking every movement and listening to every word. The encounters leave a lasting impression on the mind, with fear and adrenaline intertwining, creating memories that are impossible to forget, and stories that are passed down to warn others of the house that refuses to be tamed. Even from the outside, the house at the end of the street exerts a strange and unsettling influence on the entire neighborhood. Locals speak of an unshakable feeling of dread that seems to spread like a shadow over the surrounding homes. Pets refuse to approach the property, and children instinctively avoid walking near it. Adults speak only in hushed tones of the eerie silence that surrounds the house, and the way the air seems heavier and colder. As you draw closer, those who live nearby often report hearing unexplained noises late at night, faint whispers carried by the wind or shadows flickering across their windows that vanish. When looked at directly, the presence of the house seems to extend beyond its walls, affecting anyone who comes too close, creating tension, fear, and a sense that something unseen is constantly watching. Over time, the house has become a silent authority in the neighborhood, dictating behavior through fear and rumor, and even those who have never entered it feel the oppressive weight of its history. The stories of past tragedies and reported paranormal activity seep into the community, shaping perception and reinforcing the idea that the house is more than just a building. It is a living presence, a constant reminder of danger and the unknown. Despite attempts over the years to renovate or sell the house at the end of the street, it has remained abandoned and untouched. The tragedies and disappearances that have occurred within its walls have left a mark that no amount of repair or cleaning can erase. Every report of paranormal activity adds to its reputation and strengthens the aura of fear surrounding it. Locals and visitors alike tell stories of the unexplained events they have witnessed or heard about, and these stories pass from generation to generation, ensuring that the house is never forgotten. Paranormal investigators claim that the dark presence within the house is tied to the cumulative energy of fear and suffering it has absorbed over decades, and that this energy continues to manifest in ways that cannot be controlled or predicted. The house seems to hold on to the memories of all who have suffered there, and the land itself may retain a violent or tragic past that feeds into its malevolent influence. People who live nearby speak of feeling the presence of the house, even without entering it, sensing cold drafts, shadows that linger, and an invisible weight that presses down on anyone who comes too close. Its haunted reputation has made it a place that draws curiosity while simultaneously warning people to stay away. The accumulation of history, tragedy, and unexplained phenomena ensures that the house at the end of the street will continue to haunt the minds of those who dare to approach it, and the stories of what happens inside will never truly fade. As the night deepens and darkness spreads across the quiet street, the house at the end of the street sits motionless, yet its presence feels heavier than ever. Its walls seem to breathe with memories of every tragedy that has occurred within them, every cry, every scream, every whispered name that has ever echoed through its hallways. The air around it grows colder, as if unseen eyes are watching every step and every movement of those who dare to come near. Even the bravest souls who have walked past its gates feel an unease that gnaws at the chest and a weight that presses down on the mind. Those who have entered speak of sensations that cannot be explained, the feeling of being followed, footsteps that echo with no source, doors that open and close on their own, and shadows that move independently of any light. The house does not forget the energy of fear it has absorbed over the years. It feeds on curiosity and lingers in the hearts and minds of those who encounter it. Locals avoid looking at it, directly whispering stories of families who vanished without a trace, or returned forever changed by what they saw or felt inside. The land around it seems tainted by its history, as if the very soil remembers every violent or tragic moment that has ever occurred there. The house stands as a monument to the unknown, a place where reality and nightmare intertwine, where time feels distorted, and every passing second is heavy with dread. Even as the world around it changes, the house remains the same, silent, imposing, and untouchable, drawing the curious while warning them with its oppressive presence. Those who leave cannot stop thinking about it, and those who stay too long risk losing themselves to the shadows and whispers that seem to linger long after they step away. The house at the end of the street is more than a building. It is a living memory of fear, a sentinel of horror, a keeper of secrets that will never be fully uncovered, and a story that refuses to end, because some places are never meant to be understood, and some houses are never meant to be entered.